Now in this section, we actually need to have a look at how we sketch polynomials, just like we did when we were sketching quadratics and also cubics. Now in your booklet, I've already given you these steps here. When you're sketching a polynomial that is factored into linear factors, and for the sake of this part of the course, they are going to be factorized for you already, most of the times, I think. The steps that you want to do is, the first step is you draw up a table of values, dodging around the zeros to test the sign. So we did this when we did the cubics actually at the end of the last term. What you want to do is you want to draw up a table with x and y, and you want to set up your zeros. So for example, if you know that, so your zeros are just where these linear factors are equal to 0. So if I know that I have zeros at alpha, beta, and gamma, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw up a table like this. I'm going to put dots in the values either side of it. I know that the y values are equal to zeros because they are the zeros. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just substitute values in each one of these gaps and check, is it positive or negative? Is it positive or negative? And what that will tell me is, if this is positive and this is negative, it will tell me at alpha, the graph is above the curve or below the curve. So if it's above, the value will be positive. If it's below, it's going to be negative. So that's what this table of signs does. Now, the second point here is, if a curve meets the x-axis at x is equal to alpha without crossing it, then the x-axis is tangent to the curve at that point. So what it means for this part here is that, for example, if the next one here is negative, and I have my beta over here, what it means that before beta, it's the graph is below the curve, so it's negative, below the x-axis. But afterwards, it's also negative, so it ends up looking something like this. It's a tangent. It doesn't actually cross the x-axis. So here, if you've got signs, the two signs either side of a 0 is the same, it creates a tangent. It doesn't actually cross the curve. So a tangent is where it touches the x-axis, but doesn't actually cross the x-axis. So let's